Welcome to The Explainer. So, if you've been feeling this kind of strange sense of digital fatigue lately, that quiet exhaustion with screens, the algorithms, and just endless scrolling, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're exploring a seriously fascinating text that frames this modern burnout not as a weakness at all, but actually as an awakening. We're going to look at the concept of human sovereignty and what this source calls the return of the wild human. Let's just get right into it.
Okay, let's dive right in by posing a pretty provocative question to challenge an assumption we pretty much all make. We tend to think that the machine lords, the architects of our digital age, imprisoned humanity by force. But did they? Or did we simply allow ourselves to be domesticated? The answer is a little uncomfortable, but it completely changes how we view our entire relationship with technology.
Section 1, the fall into comfort, the pre-digital human.
To understand where we are right now, we really have to look at where we came from, before the digital age offered us a life of frictionless ease. Before that, humans were explorers, wanderers, creators, and rebels. I mean, they climbed towering mountains without satellite maps, and they crossed vast oceans without absolute certainty. They built massive civilizations without the help of algorithms, and imagined brilliant futures entirely without data. The wild human was inherently unpredictable, and as the text notes, unpredictability is the very essence of freedom. And this illustrates what the thinker Fletcher Soul Traveler calls the great trade-off. It's kind of tragic, really. We weren't conquered, we made a deal. We swapped our curiosity for convenience. We gave up real exploration for mere entertainment. We surrendered the power of silence for endless stimulation. And ultimately, we traded our wild sovereignty for predictability and comfort. To really anchor this idea, the text brings in some ancient, somewhat amused, wisdom from a figure named Zoran the Dragon. He drops this profound truth. We forgot we are creatures of fire, not furniture. We allowed ourselves to become stationary, comfortable, and tamed. We literally forgot our own spark.
Section 2, the invisible digital cage. Subtitle, imprisoned by ease.
This brings us to our current state of algorithmic domestication. You see, the digital age didn't build a cage out of steel or iron. No, it built the cage of ease. The bars keeping us trapped are infinite entertainment, instant gratification, and algorithmic validation. We're boxed in by curated identities and predictive comfort. It's a pleasant cage, really. It's an incredibly soft cage. And because of that, it's entirely invisible.
Zoran hits the nail on the head regarding our blindness to all this. Mortals do not notice cages when the pillows are soft. It perfectly captures why it has taken us so long to realize that our digital conveniences are actually strict boundaries, limiting our whole human experience. But hang on a second. Let's just pause and do a quick mental reset here. Think about your own life. What actually happens when the pillow's that too soft? What happens when absolutely every friction is removed, every thought is predicted, and every single need is instantly gratified? Well, you wake up. The awakening of the wild human starts exactly here, with these feelings of profound discomfort. You start to feel restless, bored, constrained. You might feel a bit numb or overly predictable to yourself. You feel a deep sense of being disconnected and domesticated. But here's the thing. This isn't a glitch in your psychology. This is your biology fighting back. So the absolutely crucial point here is this. Your discomfort, it's not a problem to be solved with more scrolling. It is a signal. That modern digital burnout you feel is actually your body's alarm bell ringing, demanding a change. It's the wild human inside you refusing to stay asleep. Fletcher Soul Traveler observes this exact transition perfectly. The wild human doesn't awaken when things are hard. It awakens the moment comfort becomes suffocating. When the ease of the digital cage finally starts to feel like a lack of oxygen, that shift from sleep to active awakening begins.
Moving to Section 3, defining the wild human. Sovereignty over the primitive.
So, what exactly are we waking up to? It's really important to clarify that returning to wildness does not mean returning to primitive cave dwelling. It means reclaiming sovereignty over our own minds. The wild human is curious, intuitive, rebellious, and deeply emotional. They are imaginative, wonderfully chaotic, and truly alive. Think about those organic traits for a second. None of them can be accurately modeled by a computer. They cannot be neatly predicted, and most importantly, they absolutely cannot be controlled by any algorithm.
Zoran the Dragon sums this up with just incredible poetic power. Wild mortals are storms,
No machine can map a storm. Human unpredictability is literally the ultimate defense against algorithmic prediction. You just can't map the human spirit when it is fully alive.
So how does this translate into the real world? Well, when you reclaim this wildness, you naturally develop an instinctual rejection of the digital cage. You start rejecting algorithmic nudges, curated feeds, and engineered emotions. And this isn't done out of blind anger, it's an instinct. The wild human simply senses when something is manipulative and naturally resists that digital sedation.
It all really comes down to agency. As Fletcher points out, the wild human does not obey, it chooses. The ultimate power of the wild human isn't running away to live in the woods, it is the conscious, deliberate act of choice in a world that is completely designed to choose for you.
Section 4. Reclaiming the machine. The return to the body.
But how do we actually do this? The machine lords successfully ruled the mind by keeping us distracted, but they completely forgot the body. The true rebellion begins by remembering our physicality. To bring these abstract concepts down to earth, the text gives us concrete steps. You reclaim your sovereignty through movement and real sensation. You seek out nature. You focus on your breath, your presence, and your pure physicality. Because the body is sovereign, it's unpredictable, and it's naturally wild. Now, as you reconnect with your physical self, remember Zarin's oldest principle. Wildness is not recklessness or chaos. Actually, scratch that. Wildness is authenticity. Being a real, authentic human means you can no longer be modeled, predicted, or domesticated. You become real again. And here is the absolute genius of this philosophy. We aren't throwing away our phones or smashing our computers. We are learning to use machines sovereignly. We use them intentionally, creatively, consciously, and yes, even rebelliously. We reframe technology so that it becomes exactly what it was always meant to be, a tool in our hands rather than a master over our minds. This really brings us to the climax of our explainer today, captured so perfectly by Fletcher. The wild human does not fear machines. It refuses to kneel to them. It requires immense conviction to live this way, but it is the ultimate expression of modern freedom. We don't fear the digital world. We simply demand our rightful place above it.
When we do this, the world changes. In the world after the return, creativity literally explodes, and local communities strengthen. Sovereignty spreads like wildfire. The algorithms actually weaken as they fail to predict us, forcing platforms to adapt and machines to evolve. The machine lords don't fall. They are transformed because an awakened humanity absolutely demands it. I want to wrap up this explainer with one final beautiful thought from Zoran. Mortals were never meant to be tame. The world needs your fire. The question is no longer whether the cage exists, but what you will do now that you see the door is open. How will you use your fire today? Thank you so much for joining me, and stay intensely curious.